Hello, people. Hello, people of Earth. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? It's your boy Travis. What is happening with some of these boxes? Some stuff is there. We go. As you can see, it's just me. Brandon is not here right now. Yeah, excuse me, I'm a bit parched. But the reason we're starting late is not Brandon's fault. It's my fault. I had I had something come up that took longer than expected, and so I got here a little late. Problem is, I can't get a hold of Brandon, so I don't. So I started the stream without him actually being here, and I'm really hoping he didn't fall asleep. Maybe he did. But if you're here, if you're watching right now, shout it out in the chat. Let us know that you're here, and we'll do a little little pre-show hangout while we see if Brandon shows up to what may be a rather uneventful podcast. But hello, Scary Terry Folds. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Yeah, I hope he's not disqualified. I hope that hope he makes it. I also saw D Squeeze earlier, hanging out. D Squeeze, thanks for hosting the stream over on Twitch. We did get quite a few questions from you guys. A lot of them came in late, but there are quite a bit. So I got mad lids, bruh. Do I have oh, I think that's supposed to say Mad Libs. I don't have Mad Libs. You guys know Brandon's the one that's always bringing the freshest libs to these parties. I'm sure I can look up a Mad Lib, but that's more his thing, right? So let's send out our good energy. Let's send out our good thoughts to Brandon and wake him up. Maybe he's pooping. I don't know. That could be a thing. Is it too late to submit questions? No, champ of the champs. You can drop your questions right here in chat. Karaoke. I can barely talk, let alone do karaoke right now, and it's never good anyway when I do karaoke. Good question, champ. Where is Brandon? I got a little over eager with starting the stream, and he's not here. Things I do know about Brandon's location. He's somewhere in Florida. His level of consciousness, suspect. Yeah, you could try that, D Squeeze. You could see if the Beetlejuice effect works on Brandon. I'm currently doing the text message method. It's been rather unsuccessful. Started the stream. Yeah, I'm letting him know that I'm out here on my own. All right, there we go. Everything's dislodged. Everything's perfect. Well, I hope you guys are having a good Monday. Sorry it's such a crazy stream. Sorry we haven't had a Rick and Morty podcast in like a month, but you know how it is. There's no new shows. It's summoned a demon. Oh yeah, call him. Sure. I don't know that phone number actually goes to his phone, but you could try it. Started the stream. Yeah, that's so a little behind the scenes for you guys. Normally I throw that stream starting soon banner up as we're like tying up loose ends and getting all of the podcast recording stuff ready to go. So I was like, yeah, he'll be here. Yeah, I'll just hit start stream and I'll set my recording all up, and then it didn't show. He's not here. So let's answer a question. Let's other than karaoke. No Mad Libs. Oh man, you guys. There's some good questions for the actual podcast. There's some other ones. Oh, I don't want to answer too many of these without him. I left a very friendly voicemail. I appreciate you doing that. That. I'm sure that voicemail will find its way onto a future episode of this podcast. He could be on another planet. He's getting up in years, guys. That Brandon, and he wakes up and he heads off to work. And then maybe he fell asleep with maybe he's reading a bedtime story and just passed the heck out. Yeah, maybe he is doing another podcast. He could have been recording Submitted for Your Approval, Twilight Zone podcast. How was my weekend? My weekend was pretty good. The weather in Nebraska was favorable, up into the 50s, which, depending on where you're currently located, could sound warm or could sound cold. But it was good. I went out and I ran 5 miles in a row. I'm currently training for a 10K with some folks from work. So I got outside and did some running, which I gotta say, running outside far superior to running inside, whether that is an indoor track or on a treadmill. I much prefer getting out and running on them roads. So I did some running, and then the same day I went to the outlet mall to get new running shoes because I seem to be running more often. Check with the last story for more information. But yeah, I went and bought some more running shoes, and then I went to this taco place. It's called Voodoo Taco, and they have a ghost pepper pork taco, and it's amazing. And then it was National Margarita Day, and Brandon had already sent me pictures of the margarita that he had enjoyed, and so I was like, I'll get a margarita because it's when in Rome. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that this was maybe the most strong margarita I've ever had in my life. And I was feeling it. So then I wandered the mall with my family, feeling very free-spirited. And we went to the Lindt chocolate store, and I bought like 50 chocolate truffles and ate many of them. So I pretty much undid everything that I had accomplished in the 5 mile run with my dining selection later that day. But it was good. It was all good. And then that was most of the weekend. I don't know what else. I don't know. What did you guys do on the weekend? I know that Brandon went to Universal Studios yesterday, and did not get to ride the Hagrid ride despite waking up very early. Maybe that's why he's asleep right now, guys. Maybe he's asleep because he spent the day at Universal with his family yesterday, and then, just couldn't hang. Did I eat the ghost pepper pork taco? Yes, I did. They use like a ghost pepper sauce, and it is. I've had this taco 3 times in my life. The first time and the third time, it was like a little spicy. The second time I had it, I was sweating like crazy. It was ridiculous, but it's always delicious. Philip Marks, what is my favorite thing to cook? I tend to be in charge of the meats in my house, so I have a smoker. I like doing like barbecue, that kind of stuff. I enjoy cooking a not a well done steak, but a steak that is well prepared. Um, yeah, that I tend to be in charge of those types of things. I did. I have a Ninja Foodie. It's like a pressure cooker slash um, air fryer, and we made some pork carnitas about a month ago, and they were amazing. They one of my favorite things that I've made at home in the last couple months. Uh, there's two yesterdays. Wait, fed where there's two yesterday. It was down for the day. I was sad. Oh, for those tacos? Yeah. No, those tacos are amazing. Uh, the right. You're talking about Hagrid. You're talking about Universal. Sorry, the delay. I was a little confused. Yeah. I have never been to Universal in Florida. I've been to Universal in Hollywood a couple of times, but man, they really seem to have stepped up their game in the last couple of decades. So the next time I'm in Florida, I owe it to myself to check out all of the stuff they're doing with Simpsons and Harry Potter, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be very interested to see all that. But this Hagrid ride, it looks really cool. But I've heard that they're dealing a lot with crazy lines and stuff like that. Not quite as bad as the situation in Hollywood Studios out at Disney World, but that park just seems like a mess right now. And I don't know. I am glad I went to Disney World when I did. I missed out on Rise of the Resistance, but I would not want to put up with those crowds. Cheers, Phil. Appreciate you hanging out. And guys, I don't know if he's showing up. I don't know. This is it's a little awkward. So the reality is this could end up being a two-parter. This is just bonus time. If you've never hung out for the post show of one of our podcasts, this is kind of what it's like, but with a lot more Brandon. I'm getting the feeling that Brandon is not going to show up tonight, and he will probably postpone for tomorrow, which is fine. You know, it happens. It. The silver lining here is we have a lot more time for listener questions to come in, which again we've got some good ones, but now we can give people some time to marinate and think about exactly those deep burning questions that they're wanting to ask us. Like Scary Terry, the question that you have in here, it just says what time. That was the question that you asked, and clearly, we don't know. Your question was a little bit foreshadowing because we thought we would start at 9 Eastern. That got pushed to 9:30, and now it's Tuesday. Oh, you've ridden Hagrid 6 times. It's fun, and the line isn't bad even when it's 2 hours. That's cool. I really appreciate when theme parks now are really like stepping up the experience that when you're waiting in line. Whether that Disney's been doing it for years and years, but a lot of other places seem to really like set the stage or help tell the story while you're waiting in line, which makes the time go by a little bit faster. I'm actually a little upset that I missed. I had fast passes when I was at Animal Kingdom for the Flight of Passage ride, so I missed the traditional queue for where you get to see like the giant avatar and a tank and stuff like that. Kind of wish I'd seen that. I'm also very glad I didn't wait 2 hours to see that. So, have I seen any good movies lately? Not. I mean, I'm trying to catch up on my Best Picture nominees because I totally dropped the ball on all of those. I finally saw Joker. I thought it was really good. I might go see Sonic the Hedgehog tomorrow because my son is dying to see it, and and the reviews are not terrible. Oh, guys, he's alive. He is alive. Let's see if he shows up. Um, he's I don't know. He's at least texting me. So there may in fact be a podcast. Otherwise, it will just be me hanging out with you guys. It's 2020. Why hasn't a Silicon Valley startup disrupted lines yet? Always with the astute observations. John, well done. The gentleman was very well put together. I think, is that the movie that Brandon was talking about? He was talking to me about a movie recently, or no, I think he was talking about like Knives Out or something. Why are lines still a thing? It's alive. Brandon's alive. I mean, that's, if nothing else, that's a good thing. Let me text him here. Are we doing this? I'm hanging out with our streaming faithful. Guys, I got a yep. He's coming. It's happening, guys. We are doing this thing. So yeah, this will be great. And I'm all loosened up now. I'm used to talking. So this will be fun. Again, he's not guaranteed a time that he will be here. All right, I feel better. All right, yeah, still hit us with those questions. Sire Dark, what up, my man? Oh, he's here. He's not on the stream. I can see him, but you can't see him. But yeah, he's Brandon. Let me know when you're ready to go live because I have been treading water for almost 30 minutes. Yeah. If only I had decided to play a video game. He's audio only tonight. He's been sleeping, so he doesn't want anybody to see his face. Are you ready for me to bring you into the stream? People can hear you now. Oh wait, no. People could already hear you, and then I turned your audio off.
Oh.
But there he is. Oh,
Typical.
wait, I gotta hit transition. Boom! There we go. There's our boy Brandon.
There he is.
Guys.
The great thing about this is, even though the initial delay was
My
not
fault. No, we covered this.
we're starting. I said 10:15ish on on that last tweet. So I feel like we're doing okay.
Kev with the deep cut, breaking out the Legos on stream. Man, that was a time.
Jeez. Oh, jeez. Where is my restream so I can see everyone's chat? Oh, Sire Dark.
Yeah, we got a good crew hanging out. Sire Dark, D Squeeze, Philip Marks hanging out. The old Champ.
Woo!
Who
that guy is.
Who else? Oh, Scary Terry Folds. First in the chat. Um,
thank you, Daniel, for giving me a call on my phone, leaving a voicemail.
he said it was a nice voicemail. I hope it was.
Yeah, actually, it totally was. Let me see. Uh,
I told you you might get to hear it later.
oh man, yeah. Let's see. Let's see if it plays. Oh, damn it! Is my Bluetooth not on? Oh, I don't think my Bluetooth is
You gotta get
on.
that Bluetooth on.
Oh no! Do I want to
All
connect to
right,
a?
so you guys are gonna get the raw like pre-show, the whole thing. You guys are here for.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, let me connect to the Rodecaster Pro. I'm connecting. Ooh, okay, all right. Check this out. Check this out. All right.
It's weird. This is the least I've talked.
Oh no, you're crusty all of a sudden. Good thing we figured this out. I don't know if people can still hear me. Um, but they can still hear me. Okay, well then that means you can hear.
Brandon, this is Daniel. Travis is wondering where you're at. He's doing the stream without you. I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're just sleeping. And I hope you wake up so you can do this podcast stream. Best of luck. Much love, my friend. Hopefully I see you soon or hear from you.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna do a quick refresh, and then we will get right
Okay.
into business.
Good.
Brandon, how do I sound?
Shit. Oh, hey, Travis. Hey, good to hear from you, man.
Sounding good?
Yeah, you sound great. You sound high quality. How do I sound?
Sounding good. Sounding fine. The dogs are barking outside. Everything is perfect.
Good. I'm gonna start recording on a Reaper.
Oh. Hold on. I gotta. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
5,
5,
4.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The dogs are barking. It is not too late to submit questions. You guys keep your questions coming in the chat while we record this episode.
And no questions about the current campaign, champ.
Yeah, we'll figure out who the school, the high school, student body president will be at the appointed time.
It says Cyberdark says I'm still sounding like I'm on my laptop mic. Do I sound like I'm on my laptop mic?
Not.
Do I sound all right to you, Travis?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Give me one of these things. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the right mic.
Oh yeah.
The problem may be because it's going through the internet into my computer, back out into the internet. That could be an issue.
That could be an issue. I turned on Big Bottom, which is a thing that is on my mixer. Here, oh god, that's what I was doing. Oh,
you asked for it.
Check this out. This is what I put. Oh, look at these options.
Oh, such
big,
options.
Big Bottom, which is this guy right there. Oh, look at that Big Bottom. Yeah, this is a.
Can't wait till one day when we both live in the same part of the world again, and we can just hang out in your garage. Like old times.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was Philip said I should do karaoke. He has no idea what a bad idea that is.
No, me. I'm the definite karaoke man. You've heard my tunes. I'm gonna take a chance again. Gonna put my heart on the line again. And then Mandy, you came and you gave without taking. And then at the Copa Copacabana.
You do Copacabana for karaoke?
I have done Copacabana for karaoke. Actually, that's actually the first time I realized that that song is really depressing. When it comes, the moral of that song is don't fall in love. That's that's the moral of that
It's not
song.
wrong. What's that? If you like pina coladas, that song too is like. I mean, it turns out all right. I don't want to give anyone any spoilers.
Spoilers.
But man, it's not. It's kind of a sad song. All right.
He also he has a he also has a song called "Him," which is all about like his wife is cheating on him with another with another dude, and he's like, it's him, or me, me, and it's just like, man, you got some issues, bro. You got some issues. 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 All right. Um, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I've been ready to go. I've been ready to go since 8:30 this evening.
Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and start that music then, and we'll make a podcast out of this.
I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, actually, well, I'm turning up my.
I'm gonna do live voiceover on this one take.
I'm turning up my gain just a little bit. Okay. I still sound all right.
Fine to me.
Great. Okay. Here we go in 5, 4, 3. We're at 4 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Hey, everybody, on this week's episode, we are answering your questions. Buckle up. It's time for a live Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Oh, man, that was great. That was solid, Travis. You did that perfectly.
One take. We're doing it live. I'm feeling loose. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this show. This is Apathetic Enthusiasm. I'm Travis.
And I'm Brandon, and welcome to the show. I did say perfectly, and I put this as a clean one. Well, I just ruined it in the first 10.
Somebody's gonna be driving to school with their kids in the back seat playing Fortnite, and the first thing they're gonna hear is Brandon.
That's right. Scarborough. Why did he say perfect?
Everybody, welcome to the show. If you are watching live, you already know what's going on. You guys are well aware. We are starting this podcast a little late. I did a weird half-hour solo pre-pod at the get-go, but I think we're ready. We're both here. We're excited, and we are going to be answering lots of questions tonight on the podcast. A lot of these questions came from social media. If you're not following us on social media already, there are lots of ways you can do that. Over on Twitter, @Apathusiast, on Facebook, facebook.com/Apathetic Show. You can send us emails at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. Over on Instagram, apathetic_enthusiasm, and our website is apatheticenthusiasm.com. Big thanks to everybody that's watching, filling up the chat right now with tons of questions and conversations over on twitch.tv/apatheticenthusiasm or over on YouTube, youtube.com/apatheticenthusiasm. You guys are amazing. I'm so thankful for you guys. So much fun chatting with you. If you have not checked out one of our episodes live or even just a video version, so you can head over to YouTube and watch all of the video versions over there. Tons of fun. Love hanging out with you guys. And then finally, you can buy our love, of course, over at apatheticenthusiasm.com/shop, where you can get t-shirts, or you can support us directly at patreon.com/rickandmortypod. All right, Brandon. True or false?
Here we go.
Did
True
you
or
take
false?
a nap?
No, I did not. I did not take a nap. Here's what happened, right? You said like, I'm running late. Oh my God, I feel so bad for everyone who's waiting for us. I know we start at 9 p.m. Eastern, but yeah, like I'll be there. And so I said, it's no problem. I'll just put out a tweet. I'll say 10 to 10:15, right, roundabout. And in that time, I started thinking about like my campaign, the campaign as far as D&D goes, and then I thought about like getting into Streamlabs, and then I was putting a kid to bed, and a bunch of stuff happened. I was like, well, I still have till 10 to 10:15, and when I got back at around 10:12, I noticed the phone call from Daniel. I noticed you sending me a couple messages. I was like, he's back. He's
He's
oh
back. Uh-oh.
oh, and then I pulled my pants up.
That was the second theory. The second theory was that you were dropping the deuce, and that you weren't available at the time.
That's right. That's right. So with at any rate, I'm looking forward to this episode. We don't do. Well, I take that back. I was going to say we don't do very many QA episodes, but I think this is maybe our third or fourth one. And I gotta say, I think this one is gonna be the most successful of all time. We've had some good ones, but just the folks in the stream, that's great, just popping questions at us left and right. And the ones that we have on social media from people I know personally, and some other fans out there, it's gonna be great. We're gonna rapid fire these shits off. I'd say maybe like 1 to 2 minutes per question. We'll knock it out, Travis. We'll just knock it out.
If
Plus,
if this intro is any indication of how quickly and succinctly we are going to get right to the matter at hand, fear not. We're gonna get through these questions in no time.
no time. I have our Twitter open over at Apathusiast. If anybody is going out there, if they care, whatever, you send more questions over there. But I do have some from Bordinko, aka Brian. My old tech buddy, who's sending us questions left and right. But let's get after. Let me stop that and say to this, Travis. Let me ask the first question. How in the hell are you doing tonight, and are you ready for this?
Dude, I'm feeling so good right now. Like I was so stressed coming into this, and then like the unorthodox way that this podcast got started. I don't know. It got me excited. It got me excited to talk to you guys and get ready. So yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to answer some questions. Let's get right into it. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I noticed that you're writing down questions from the chat as we go on, which is good because I only thought about that like in the middle of what you were saying to me. I don't actually know what you said to me. That's great.
No, it's good. It's good. That's teamwork, Brandon. Let's start with what we are affectionately calling Matt questions. These are questions from Brandon's longtime best friend, Matt. Size Mode, friend of the podcast. You hear him every time we start a new episode as of like the last month.
Yeah.
But his first question is, what is your favorite place that you've been in the world?
I should have thought about this question before I actually responded to you asking that question. Favorite place I've been to in the world? It would have to be with my wife and kid. That's to set it up. That's to set
The line for Hagrid's on Sunday.
We can get into that later. I guess the best vacation we had was up in Monterey. Like we spent time in Monterey. It's cloudy. It's kind of cold, but it's whenever you go visit family, if you've been away from family for a long time, and then they're still in like the state that you grew up in, every time you go back to visit family, like that ends up being your vacation, and you never get like actual vacation time. And what separated that experience for us was that was ours. Like we did it. It was just me, Chelsea, and my son. So um that I think that stuck out, that experience.
All right.
What about you?
Burping. That's my favorite place to be. The first thing that pops into my brain is all Disney theme park related, and that is like the easy answer. But then again, that's also manufactured, and there's I love Disney. I mean, boom, there's the ears right there. But honestly, I think my favorite place is It was the time I spent in Hawaii, and there are areas there. You're by the ocean. There's mountains, like beautiful scenery. Um, uh, when we went camping, out out in the and it's like it's dark and it's quiet and you can hear the ocean and you can just barely hear Brandon puking his PBR like next to the tree. But no, like so many amazing hikes, so much cool stuff. Yeah, as of now, I think Hawaii has been my favorite place. I bet there's a lot of other like really awesome tropical islands, but for now, I've only been to Hawaii, so that's what one I'm going to go with.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, thanks for including me in your one-upmanship. You'd be like, yeah, let me make sure I include Brandon in whatever memory I have. Yeah,
I
I
didn't say it
hate
was my favorite memory. We just happened to both be there at the same time.
it. D Squeeze 321 asks, do you eat spam from a can? And this aligns with Matt's question, favorite food of all time. Just kidding. It's not spam from a can, but I just wanted to shout out D Squeeze. Favorite food of all time. Is it like a specific like dish of like an instance along the lines of event or just like in general, like what's your favorite food? We'll go with that because it's easier and it's quicker.
Just in general, favorite food.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. Like I like barbecue like a lot. So whether it's I like pulled pork or something like that, something that's seasoned really well. My go-to answer used to be steak, but that's pretty, generic. That's whatever. And now I'm like getting older, and like cholesterol is a thing to consider. So I'm trying to move away from eating so much, red meat and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like good like barbecue. That's my
Okay. All right. Good barbecue. Look, just because my last name is Cruz doesn't mean I'm going to pick a Mexican dish. I love enchiladas. I think that's I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Just like a red sauced chicken enchilada. It speaks to me in a language that I don't understand because I only went to a quarter of Spanish in junior high school, which was weird. Right in junior high school, they didn't have semesters; they had quarters of classes. So I took a quarter of Spanish, and my final was I made an enchilada or sorry, a quesadilla in the microwave. That was my final. I had to make a quesadilla in the microwave, and then a quarter of French. Oui, I guess.
oui
Yeah.
oui.
I don't remember what the final was for that. It
Uh,
was like eat a baguette.
yeah. Did you make a baguette in the microwave?
Microwave baguettes. If
A fight has broken out in the chat between Kansas City's burnt ends and North Carolina barbecue, meaning pulled pork. I love them all. I do, and burnt ends are really good.
they are.
Yeah.
If I have to go with a barbecue dish, like I don't want the entire rib and I don't want the bones and all that type of stuff. I just want them ends
Dem
dipped
ends
in,
dough.
in sauce.
Okay, I'm gonna lightning round challenge. I'm gonna challenge you to answer this question
Okay.
in 5 words. What
Ooh.
is the best process for home buying?
Okay. Veterans Affairs Home Loans. Duh. Is the A affairs? I think it's affairs.
Sure. I don't know. Association? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely VA home loan. All you have to do is join any branch of the service, become a veteran,
Just
get
do
out,
that and you're good.
and then you've earned yourself a a low interest home loan with no money down.
I would go with avoid adjustable interest rates. Dummy. Uh, no judgment. No judgment.
Stuffy.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, we have a lot of questions about imbibing in adult beverages.
Oh yeah.
And this one is, in your opinion, what makes a beer good? What's your favorite type of beer? Finally, what is your favorite specific beer? Also from the chat, Philip wanting to know what our favorite beer was, or if not beer specifically, then just favorite alcoholic beverages. So, Boozers Unite. What are your favorite? What are your favorite types of beer? We'll start with that.
Oh my God, this question is going to reveal me as
It's
a.
the whole podcast. This is the rest of the podcast, guys.
It's going to reveal me as a poser. Look, here's the thing. I'm doing uh, Elizabeth Warren. Look, here's the thing. um,
That's
it-
not a beer.
we should do it in political candidate. Um, I like beer. The first beer I ever had, we've never gotten this question. The first beer I ever really had was my uh, one of my neighbors in my town. He had like this desert kind of like band get together in the Mojave Desert, and I was like 15, 14 maybe, and I drank like shitty Bud Light out of a keg, and I was like, oh, this is nasty, but I'm feeling stuff, so this is fun. Fast forward to when I'm now 37, and I've experienced beer, and I like beer in the sense that I like feeling effects of beer, and none of it tastes great to me. I'll dare say that I've never been like, wow, I have an orgasm from drinking this triple IPA. But
And I think that's a fair statement because I don't think most people have that reaction to beer.
like those double IPAs that I gave you when we were in Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, so that's a fun little side story. Back in our weekly Catan days when we were playing Settlers of Catan like every week, uh, you brought like a 6-pack of, it was like a variety pack of beers. Were they Sam Adams beers?
Yeah, Sam
Yeah,
Adams.
and this, I mean, at that time, like, I think my palate for beers was still pretty mild, and there were these double IPAs in there, and you like cracked open one, and like nobody at the table liked it. We were all just like, "Oh, this is terrible." And then the other ones like stayed in my fridge for like what, like a year? Like I feel like they were in there forever.
Yeah, they were there forever, man.
But now, yeah, I have nowadays. I like all kinds of IPAs.
Well,
It's just
okay. What makes a beer good to you? Like you said you like them. Like what makes it good to you? What makes it?
I went through an IPA season. I still enjoy an IPA occasionally, but if I'm being honest, like the beers that I tend to gravitate towards now are more of like a porter, like a brown ale, those sorts of things. I like something that's a little bit smoother. I definitely avoid flavored beers for the most part. Anything that tries to taste like ice cream or fruit
Oh,
or that kind of stuff, definitely not something I'm into. But as I started drinking a lot more like black coffee,
mhm.
my the flavors that I enjoy are a little bit more of like those roasty, more kind of,
Like
I,
Guinness.
yeah. I mean,
The,
yeah,
the very,
that's definitely.
very dark, very hoppy beers.
Uh, I mean, I enjoy hoppiness, but especially if like the malt is really like roasty. How many beers have you had? You're starting to lose focus there, Brandon. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely enjoy those.
Okay, I'll say this, but what is your favorite beer? What is your favorite? Well, you just said it. That was stupid. Specific
Well,
beer.
I don't know that Guinness is my favorite.
Okay. No, but that's the specific beer. What would your specific beer be? I'll tell you that my favorite type of beer is probably whatever has alcohol above the 3.2% that Bud and Coors have, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I will say that Matt asked this question. Uh, Memory wise, one of my favorite beers is I don't think it counts as beer necessarily, but what was it? It was like not Colt 45, but It was like King Cobra malt beverage, and it was just so cheap. He lived in Lamar, Colorado, and I was a couple hours away, and I went to visit him, and we just got a couple King Cobras and just tore them up.
Tore 'em
It
up.
tastes it tastes like crap, but you know what? When you got an Edward Forty hand and some stuff, nothing better.
I'll tell you what. I enjoy like a crisp, like a lager. When in the moments after I'm done mowing my lawn in the middle of summer, and I go into the house to take a shower to wash the filth of lawn maintenance off of my body,
Mm.
I will
Tell,
bring I will bring a beer into the shower with me. And if you have never had a shower beer, I'm telling you, it will change your life. A cold, refreshing beer in a hot shower it's life changing. It really is.
that's so weird. It's so weird to me. Like shower cheesecake makes sense. Shower beer, it's a little stretch. It's a-
It's I mean, Chad agrees. Shower beers are amazing. I felt a little silly the first time. Now I'll never bet against it. It's probably the same effect of like chilling in a hot tub with a beer, but
okay.
whatever.
Right. Well, my problem with shower beer is it doesn't make like I only have two hands, right? And if I'm gonna hold the shampoo
You just pour the beer on yourself. It's no big
yeah,
deal.
and what? All right, all I'm saying is that like, do you have like a tray that you put your beer on? Is
Oh,
that what you
yeah,
do?
like my shower has like shelving around for different forms of,
Do you have a bottle opener thing?
soaps and I don't, but that's not a bad idea. I have a mirror in my shower because like I shave in the shower. So, yeah, like we're getting real deep and personal right now. But
I,
yeah,
I
I have the perfect shelf to hold my beer in the shower. And if you care enough, you'll find a way. You'll find a way to make it happen.
there. Okay, we can move on from this in a second. But one of the things I think is when I'm in the shower, I'm not thinking about drinking stuff because in my mind I'm thinking about like other like work or how to fix process.
Philosophical.
Yeah, I'm not, and also because I'm like washing my butthole, I don't necessarily like correlate. Like, you know what? I'm washing my butthole with some Dove men's body wash. Let me also take a sip of this beer.
I'm telling you, you haven't lived, Brandon. This summer, I challenge you to have a shower beer.
Okay.
You live in Florida. Have it this weekend. I don't care. All right,
Oh,
we're moving on. We're moving on. This is the last in the section that we call the Matt questions, and this one will be we'll get through this one really quick. Matt wants to know what's the strongest point in your life. What was your highest bench max?
it's real quick, easy answer. 150.
I have no idea, Matt. Maybe close to that. I I want to start lifting on more, but I don't. So I will let you know when that happens. But I ran 3 miles or 5 miles on Saturday, so that happened.
There you go. There you go. It's a strange flex. Get flex. Muscle lifting.
Yeah, no, I got it. Let's read some of Philip's questions here. Philip Marks also hanging out in the chat. Wants to know Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger. Who is your Joker?
Oh, good question. Good question. Hands down, Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
Travis.
yeah, yeah.
And,
I
and, go ahead. Go ahead.
I enjoyed Joker. Just watched it recently. Um, I I feel like Joaquin Phoenix he walks you through the process of becoming the Joker. I don't there's a short sequence towards the end of the movie where you really he kind of comes into his own as the Joker, but Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker was was outstanding. I absolutely loved what he did with the character, and sort of just he really embraced that sort of mental brokenness, and I don't know. That to me, no one has since Heath Ledger has really done the role justice. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to belittle what Joaquin Phoenix did. I think he did a great job. It just I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about this after the Oscars, or leading up to the Oscars, in the sense that Joker was a movie that you could have replaced. It didn't have to be called Joker. It could have been called Bob, and it still could have shown a story about a man succumbing to madness, or not even succumbing to madness, maybe like accepting it and just being like, yeah, this is who I am, and now let me be crazy. Um, it could have been any movie is what I'm saying about that. Maybe like if there's a sequel and we see Joaquin Phoenix being actual Joker-ish, doing Joker stuff, okay, I'm down with that. But for now, Heath Ledger is his backstory, who he was. You didn't know actually who he was, or where he's coming from. Like his backstory changed every time he talked to somebody, and in that sense he is the Joker, because the Joker, we don't have an origin story for the Joker other than Tim Burton's film 1989, or The Killing Joke, or Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix. We don't have it. He embodies that kind of chaos.
Yeah.
So Heath Ledger.
Yeah, the chaos part of it, I feel, um, like the Heath Ledger like really takes it to that next level. Like that opening heist scene with like all the clowns that are taking each other out, and then he, like that was great. I think it would be interesting to see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker at fully in like the Joker role, like opposite of Batman. And I think that's like you talk about this movie could have been called Bob or whatever. Like I was genuinely surprised by how much it referenced Batman lore, because I even though it's a Joker movie, like when they're talking about, Thomas Wayne, or referring to things going on in Gotham, though, like those things place you in that story and in that world. But like you could have done very minor rewrites and adjusted that. I was happy to see it. Like I was happy, like I was waiting for that moment to see like them come out of the opera and like walk down the alley and see how that transpires, and in this version of the story. And so
Yeah.
it's good. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was like one of those movies where you can take a comic book story and like legitimize it and make it accessible to a broader audience that may be like afraid to like a comic book movie, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, Todd Phillips, he took all of Scorsese's stuff and just readapted it for a Joker movie. Philip Marks in the chat says, "What if you use Dark Knight as a sequel?" And that, just real quick answer to that is, if you take Joker and you use that as a backdrop, an origin story, not for the Joker himself, Joaquin Phoenix, not as the Joker himself, but as a inspiration to a crazy Joker down the line, who is actually the same age as Batman and is a nemesis to Bruce Wayne and Batman, then yes, I think the movie works better. And I'd be interested to see who that Joker is, and what is drawn from Joaquin Phoenix, and whatever that actor is, right? If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, and I think, and the last thing, like the the parallels, or like the back and forth between Batman and Joker, and how they're both not all there, but the way that they, take their mental instability and channel it, and how they play off of each other, was the one thing that I think was lacking in Joker. But that doesn't make it a bad movie. It's just it's more about who this person is and how they got to a point where they would actually be a worthwhile, you know, counterpoint to the eventual Batman. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Real quick, D squeeze 3 2 1. Who would be a good Harley Quinn for the Phoenix Joker? Obviously that would be Morgan Freeman. Okay.
Yeah, moving on. Should DC give up on making an extended universe like MCU?
We've talked
Yes.
about this before.
Yes.
Uh, it I disagree with you. What I think the problem is, one of a couple problems is one, they don't take time to establish a universe. They just want to jump right in. And we've talked about this before. They just like, you know what? Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, throw do it. And they're
Justice
all
League. Get a
together.
Justice League out. We'll do the individual movies later. Just get a Justice League movie out.
Oh, we'll get the Flash. No, we'll put them on the CW for Crisis on Infinite Earths. Right? Yeah, we'll just do it later. Um, that's always been the problem. Feige has done the long game with MCU, with just establishing individual movies, and then once you're like, oh, Doctor Strange has a movie, now he's in the Avengers. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Um, I don't think the DCEU has had enough confidence in their single characters. Like if they did a Martian Manhunter movie, or dare I say it, like a Booster Gold movie, like just these random characters take risks and make movies on these fairly unknown characters to build up what would be a Justice League. It doesn't always have to be the Trinity. We know the Trinity, and we'll just always go there, but that's why we've been so disparate with uh Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman. And I do have a questions from Omar. I think that's a little bit later down the road, but about the new movie, the Batman coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how many
Sparkle Bats.
how many instances of the Batman do we have? Even just like, there's a Joker movie that's not part of the DCU. This Batman movie is not part of the DCU. They're already moving away from it. They don't have a cohesive vision. I guess is the thing.
And I think that's maybe one of the problems that DC has ended up painting themselves into a corner where you have so many iterations of Batman, so many versions of Batman, so many versions of Superman, and all these different things, to where, I mean, you can retell the story, you can retell different versions of it, but what Marvel had going for it, and yes, you can throw, the old Spider-Mans and Fantastic Fours in my face and X-Men movies, but starting with Iron Man, you had the start of a very big story that at the time we didn't know, and the producers probably didn't know was as big of a story as it's going to be. But like, and yes, there are counterpoints to this, but for the most part, it is a solid through line from the first Iron Man movie to Infinity War, and Endgame. Like, they there are some casting changes and small things, but for the most part, it is telling one big overarching story. And I feel like we've already, because they can't lock in the casting for certain actors, and because like they try to go too big too fast,
Mhm.
it's the pacing just isn't there for it. And so yeah, they could start small again, but I don't know. I think they just need to make solid singular stories that really just tell a solid story within, one movie, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, and I think the last point I will make is, um, although DC made the big crossover event, they made that the standard, right, with Crisis on Infinite Earths. Um, they made that. What I think is that is the thing that they've always had, and Marvel has done where they've had Civil War, they've had Civil War 2, and they've had the Phoenix Saga, and they've had all these major crossover events over the years. I think that DC, somebody mentioned earlier, like, that I think that they should start over. I almost think that they're better off in a kind of a Twilight Zone slash anthology way. Like I think they're much better on self-contained stories told really really well on their own. Maybe referencing other beings and whatever. Um, but just as Matt Reeves is doing with the Batman, make it standalone, different from the Joker, different from Justice League, Batman, Superman, and what have you.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
all right. Enough
All right.
Batman talk.
Enough bats. We mentioned this earlier. Scary Terry asks, "What time?"
Uh, 10:17 Eastern.
Yeah, let's go with that. Thanks, Scary Terry. Appreciate the question. Slack Life 92 wants to know, how many years have you been podcasting, and do you have any future podcast endeavors, i.e., return to Lost? Oh, good question, Slack Life. First part of that question, how many years have we been podcasting? Whew, oh boy. Do the math here real quick. Carry the 2,
15?
20. That sounds right.
Yeah.
It feels like about 6 years. Almost. Five going into our 6th year.
Nuts.
It is crazy. And so for those of you that are new to the show or new to any of our shows,
No.
the way that the origin story goes, Brandon moved to Hawaii a couple doors down from me. We were hanging out one night, and I was a longtime listener of podcasts who always loved the idea of doing a podcast, but never really had the get up and go to do it. And so when he stands in my kitchen one day and says, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?"
A joke, by the way. As that's all I do. That I speak in jokes, and people they're like, yeah, no, that's a good idea.
I was fully on board. I was like, "Yes, let's do it. Let's start working on it. What are we going to call it?" And Apathetic Enthusiasm was born. Credit to Brandon's wife Chelsea for coming up with the name as we were trying to come up with a witty name for the podcast. She put together Apathetic Enthusiasm, and we started podcasting in his garage. We've both moved since then, but we've kept it going. You submitted for your approval while you were still in Hawaii.
I'll talk about that. Let's pretend it has died.
It's still there. It's on the website, apatheticenthusiasm.com.
Oh.
And then of course,
let me know.
Interdimensional RSS, who many of our listeners know us from, started with me searching for a Rick and Morty podcast to listen to, and there wasn't one. So I pitched to Brandon, "Hey, do you want to do a Rick and Morty podcast? You're the one that got me into the show." And a week later, we released our first episode. We've kept the format almost completely unchanged since that first episode. Season 3 had a surprise premiere a couple months after that, and we've just been going strong ever since then. So, that's so. My dog wants to be on this episode too, apparently. So, do we have any future podcast endeavors, Brandon? I've got some things rattling around in my head. I know we've workshopped some ideas. Do you want to put anything on the record as something that you have as a future endeavor for podcasting?
Any future podcast endeavors? Oh geez. No. 65 more episodes of Rick and Morty. I got that on the docket. Maybe the rest of Twilight Zone, the original series, that'll take another 7 years. And I don't know. We talked about ability checks that are kind of like D&D, not necessarily advice podcast, but just like our explorations through it. Because we're going through the campaign right now. In after every session, we do a roses and thorns, which is the pros and cons. And oftentimes, I know that you and John and Kevin have have very often been like, I feels like we're just picking you apart to pick you apart because we have to come up with something negative, and sometimes that does turn into an actual like argument between people. Usually it's between me and John because we're so passionate about things. Um, but generally, I feel like that kind of content, we end up talking about it for an hour or two, whether it's between me and you, or me and John, or you and John together before the session starting up. I think there's interesting things to discuss, and the whole thing with ability checks was, well, we'll record the live play where we're actually playing the game, but then like on the off weeks we would talk about the session and some of the choices that were made in there, which is what that Roses and Thorns ends up being. And and so long as we can keep things not personal, and we don't take it as criticism of us, and we like keep it as objective as possible, I think that would be a really interesting thing to do from a group of people who are learning how to play not just D&D but role playing games in general.
Yeah, and I think early on, like as we were just learning D&D and how to play, I feel like I was still trying to pick up so much information just about like the core mechanics of the game and how the game worked, and at the same time like learning how to DM because I'd never played a role playing game period, let alone been a game master for one. Uh, but now that we've played for over a year, into our second year of playing, I feel like we're much more comfortable like with the basics of the game, and we've come across more situations now where I feel like I think we'd have more to say on certain topics. Um, so yeah, I think ability checks still is something that like it's there. We could work it in somehow. I think that could be maybe like uh, somewhere on the horizon on the Apathetic Enthusiasm podcast network. The other thing for me is my lifelong love of Disney and Disney films and Disney parks has carried on a generation to my kids,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and my oldest child really would love to do a podcast with me. So we've kind of talked off and on about going back through and watching all of the classic Disney animated films, and then kind of talking about what went into creating them, and then also getting, you know, her perspective as a child in, you know, 2020, what she thinks of movies that were, you know, that came out almost a century ago now. And so it's that's something I'd love to do. It would be more of like a personal project in terms of like having to figure out how to do all the stuff that Brandon does for me on podcasts in terms of like editing and producing and all of those things. I'm sure he'd love to help me, but I don't want to drop another podcast in his lap. So that's something that's on the horizon if I ever get further into that technical side of it.
You know, I'm on the record. I would totally help you out with that,
Oh, I
because
know.
I want you, I want you. You know, the whole thing with this podcast and interventional RSS is it gives you a creative outlet in some way, and I know that you want your daughter to have a creative outlet because you want to foster that kind of creativity, and you know, not saying like, nah, you don't want to do that. Just same thing with my kid, right? He's like, I wanted a YouTube channel, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh, what is it about? He's like, and he just like spouts like a couple of syllables together, and it doesn't make any sense. Um, like, well, I wanna say yes, but you know, let's figure something out together, and we'll
Yeah.
help each other out.
And we also have full-time jobs and other commitments. So it's those are the things that we balance, right? Those are the things that we have to figure
Yeah.
out. And finally, Lost. You know, Lost is the reason I got into podcasts in the first place. The first podcast I ever listened to was when Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse would talk about the episodes each week after they were released. So, I mean, I would love to do a Lost podcast, but there's so many.
Yeah.
I just I can't capture that same magic that I had watching them, streaming them to UStream or whatever we
Yeah.
did way back when. So
Two things. One, I saw a Lost podcast that is out there that just came out maybe 6 months ago. Super popular.
yeah,
There's an audience for it. Second thing, Sire Dark puts out there, former Patreon patron Shay Minty had a Disney podcast. Will and her friends, called Imagine the Magic. We remember Shay Minty. We love her and we miss her. I also, one of my high school friends, Carrie Poppy, she had a podcast called Oh No, It's Ross and Carrie, uh, for a little bit. I think they're still going on. But she also started up another Disney podcast called Hidden Mickeys, which is all about like the hidden side of Disney. I don't think that one's going on anymore, but it's there.
no,
Okay.
good stuff. All right, we're creeping up on the 50-minute mark. Don't we still got lots of questions to cover.
2 hours. We're going 2 hours on this.
We're marathon podcast, guys. Buckle up. So Bordinko asks, do you think the USAF is even competent enough to create any AI? I'm assuming you're referring to the United States Air Force.
He is indeed. Well, kind of what he's going along the lines of is his next question, which is how did Carl the T-800 survive in southern Texas for so long? LAPD would be looking. Those kind of go hand in hand because if you don't know, Carl the T-800 is from Terminator Dark Fate, who is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who reprises his role as the T-800. Okay. And if you know, Terminator 3 was well, the Air Force was responsible for Judgment Day in that case.
Oops.
So are they even competent enough for that? That's a good question. I do know that there's been some critique about the programmers and stuff in the Air Force, that they're kind of pieces of crap and garbage, and they
White
can't
guilt, milk toast.
and they can't program themselves out of a paper bag. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do, Brandon. I really do.
um, so no, I don't think they're competent enough for that.
Here's what I'll say on the subject is, a lot of time passes between now and Judgment Day. Not really. We keep catching up. But, the Air Force is trying to progress into a more DevOps focused, development cycle, and who knows what could happen. Moving on, how to indicate to my players that an NPC is no longer useful and that they should move on. I love that we're getting some real D&D centric stuff. This is an opportunity for us to practice for ability checks, a future podcast coming to Apathetic Enthusiasm. We've both tried our hand at doing a little DMing. How would you indicate to your players that an NPC is no longer useful?
Well, this is the difficult part of DMing, as you know, especially if you have two people who like to talk around in circles and then not actually progress any further. That I
fresh squeezed juice.
Yeah, digging it deep into that. I think when we first started, there was a sense that if you describe anything that is inherently important, right? Especially when we first started, right? Like you're like, oh well, he's describing this pillar that they walk past. There must be something about that pillar that I need to inspect, and let me roll an investigation, right? Same thing with NPCs. If you ask your players, well, you describe to your players that you're in a tavern, and they're like, oh, who do I see around the room? And you're like, well, you see a dwarf, and he's wearing a tunic. It's brown. It looks like it's got some shit stains on it. You don't really know why. Then your players might be like, oh, let's go talk to that shit stained tunic dwarf. Right.
Yeah.
There's that piece, but the ones that you talk to, you might get glean some information from them, and you might end up start talking around in circles with that NPC, and like, do I need some information from you? And he's like, no, kind sir, I don't know who you're talking about. Can I roll an insight check on him?
And then
Yes.
you're like, don't ask for rolls. I'll determine whether or not you need to roll.
Yes. Oh, you rolled a 25? How do you do that? I don't know. You still don't know anything. You he's a fucking liar. I know he's lying. Um, so how do you indicate that they're no longer useful? Um, in my mind, just kind of right off the bat, I just say like, uh, that person shows indifference to you, or gets distracted by something like a mundane, or just not anything out of the ordinary. It just like continues on. Try to describe that he's just going on with his ordinary life, or there's nothing special about what he told you. It's just kind of gossip, or whatever. In that case,
Yeah, I think one of the things you're describing, like when the players are scanning the room and you describe a particular character in detail, I think those details will cause your party to look a little bit more closely at something, and continuing to add that level of detail might continue to have your players engage and try to get more information out of somebody. But I think if you start to pull those details back, and maybe the person is just doesn't have a lot of things interesting to say, that's a good way to kind of offload that NPC. I personally, I like I think I was a lot more improvisational with some of the things that I did as a DM. So if I had NPCs, I kind of just let the conversation go, and if an NPC ends up hanging out for a while, cool. If he is if he provides a useful bit of information and then the party moves on, that's fine too. Sometimes I will excuse the NPC somewhat directly and say like, "Well, I got to be heading back to the farm now. It's a pleasure meeting y'all," and then he walks away or whatever. I'll do that on occasion as well.
There, along those lines, there's a, I don't know if it's subtle or not, but it's the um, having the characters get distracted by something else in the context of that conversation. Like, the very heavy-handed way would be like, oh yes, blah 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 blah, the NPC talking, and then all of a sudden a, a goblin runs in with a Molotov cocktail, and like, this is for Obama. I think Obama.
And this is why you don't do improv in your campaigns as often.
This is for Osama bin Obama, and they're like, and like the whole tavern turns around like, hey, that's not cool. And then the goblin's like, what?
Game master. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. Next one is: should I start writing my book about a space first contact war? Yes. Yes, you should.
Yeah, 100%.
Pen to paper. Make sure you make it happen. Next is: why is Megamind so underrated?
I don't know. That's a good movie. Will Ferrell.
I've seen it. I don't. I think it's an early DreamWorks film, right? Yeah, just is probably overshadowed by things that were happening at Pixar at the time.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
More D&D questions. What D&D homebrew should I write next? Big Trouble in Little China or They Live? Ooh, okay. Assuming you're using the actual D&D rule sets as your basis for this homebrew. Brandon, quick, tell me what They Live is.
Oh, you don't know what They Live is? Oh my God. Roddy Piper he finds glasses, right? He puts on these sunglasses. They kind of look like blue blockers. And he sees all these advertisements that are around the city, and they're just like saying like obey and buy and stuff like that. Um, and eventually he gets into like a massive fight with the guy who plays Childs in the Thing. Does God, I remember his name. He was in he's in Rick and Morty. He plays a giraffe, short giraffe.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah. The whole point is like there's aliens that are invading Earth, and they're um mind controlling people to buy their products and stuff like that. They're taking over subtly, and these
Okay.
glasses allow them to see the truth. That's what they live as. I
Okay. Well, I'm glad we could continue the streak, long time streak on Apathetic Enthusiasm of discovering movies I have not seen. And with that in mind, write it on Big Trouble in Little China.
We'll do our next AE episode on They Live.
Is it a Netflix rewatch? Can we still do this?
Oh yeah, I think we can. Reverse draft. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, God. Thank you. If I said thank you, God, then that must mean that Philip Marks is God. Okay.
It's all it can mean. Moving on.
Friday swap, Travis. Bill Pullman in Twister or Bill Paxton in Independence Day. Bonus remix, Bill Paxton in Spaceballs or Bill Pullman in Weird Science. Which is the better freaky Swide flop?
Freaky Friday swap. Uh, I don't. I'm gonna go with Bill Paxton in Independence Day, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bill. Oh damn it! That I see Bill so many times, and I'm like, oh shit! Now I'm confused. I'm gonna go with Bill Paxton directed Frailty. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I'm gonna say him in Twister because Game Over Man fits so well in Twister. We'd be like, here comes a tornado, man! Game over! Game over! And then a cow goes past the camera, and the cow's like,
all right, and finally, one of my favorite questions of the night. What is your favorite character from Bob's Burgers, and why is it Tina?
It's Tina. Shit. Damn it. No, it's I mean, it'd have to be Bob, right? Like, why would you not have your favorite character of the show be Bob? It'd have to be Bob.
No, no. Louise is my favorite character.
Okay, you're right.
She there was a period where I referred to her as my spirit animal. So,
Kristen Shaw.
Yeah, she's
Love.
sorry, it's not Tina. All right, we're getting close to the end here, folks. You've held on. Hopefully, this is as enjoyable for you as it is for us. Yes, we probably should have split these questions in half and made 2 episodes out of this. If you're enjoying this episode, send more questions over to apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. Maybe we'll make this a regular thing. Who knows?
Yeah,
This one is from Dreads. Oh goodness, Dreads.
No, Dread Sigil Odegra.
Oh yeah, of course. It's all one word. Dread Sigil Odegra asks, when are you guys doing Ram D&D special? Great question.
Great question.
The box is right over there. Next month, I am actually going to play test the set with a group of people.
He's gonna play test it.
That's what's happening. So I'm gonna run a test game just to get myself kind of comfortable with DMing the one shot, and we're still talking to some folks about who is gonna be in on that campaign, and then we'll record it and start releasing it as soon as Brandon lets us.
Once I edit it, yeah.
Well,
no. Here's the thing about play testing it is Travis has never DM'd before, and wait, no, you have. But the thing is we kind of we've gotten into this routine of we've played with the same four folks for all our D&D so far, and I think that with this Rick and Morty stuff coming around, the D&D campaign, I think it's it's good for us to run through it one time to see what it's like and what the flow would be, and with a brand new set of folks, to find out, well, how can I make this, how can I make it interesting, what are the expectations, like what will the players do in certain situations, and adapt that to us recording, and especially for you, Travis, and you could speak to it more, I'm sure. uh you know, finding out what works and what doesn't, and what you can do to prepare better, and next when we do it for the real thing.
Yeah, and especially with some of this like pre-written material, like I don't want it. I want it to feel a little bit more natural, so that as we're playing through it, I don't want to be thumbing through pages and being like, oh, what room are they in? What, like, oh, let me find the right thing for this. Oh shoot, I don't. So a little bit more prep. But it should be good. It should be good, and we'll get that out there. Just be cool, my babies. You guys will get it here pretty soon. Omar, we already answered one of your questions. The other question that you have is, what do you think of the new Transformers show on Netflix? Very simple. Haven't seen it.
Well, I think it's a trailer, but
Haven't seen the
Omar,
trailer.
uh, 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 real quick, Omar, love him. He's my friend. I work with him. He sent me the trailer on in Facebook Messenger, and I want to tell him straight up, after watching him send me that message, I didn't actually watch the video associated with it. So I assume it's pretty cool. I'm going to Transformers Con with him in Orlando in March, where
You're such a poser.
where
You need to
where he
transform into a real Autobot before you get there.
where him, I, and some other friend of ours, Billy, will go to Transformers Con, and I'll be walking with them, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, it's a limited edition Optimus Barnaby," and I'll be like, "Oh my god, yeah, I remember that's Generation 3." They're like, "No, fucking nerd, that's Generation 2.5."
Based on the one screenshot that is all over Google, the Optimus Prime looks pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie, looks pretty
I
sweet.
know, I know, it looks so sweet.
We're losing them, guys. We're losing them. Let's wrap it up with some chat questions. These are some of the questions that you guys have been sharing in the Twitch and YouTube chat the entire time we've been recording. Brandon and I have been feverishly trying to capture them. So thank you so much for everybody that's hanging out in chat and sharing these questions. We put the questions down. We didn't necessarily put who wrote them down in every case. So if this was your question, shout it out. First one was favorite alcoholic drink. I'm pretty sure that was Philip. We talked about beer. We didn't really get to favorite alcohol drink outside of beer. If it's not beer, Brandon, what would you be drinking?
Shirley Temple.
Not a refreshing summer beverage.
Favorite alcoholic drink. That it is a great question. Um, my problem is, like, I have vodka. I drink a lot of vodka, and I mix vodka with basically everything. So I don't necessarily have a favorite drink. I would like Sprite and and grenadine and vodka. Um, ah, Damn, yeah, maybe margarita. I'll just go with margarita. Like a
Festive.
very good margarita. By the way, National Margarita Day was this last weekend.
Yeah, head back to the pre-show when I talk about the one margarita that made me drunk at an outlet mall this weekend. That's where that's at. Good. Margarita. I had that margarita this weekend, and I was like, I need to drink more margaritas. This is really good. But I will say, my favorite drink is an old fashioned
Oh,
because I enjoy the whiskeys, the bourbons, the scotches. I often drink them neat or with a little bit of ice, but mixing it up, adding a little bit more flavor in there. Old fashioned is when I want to kick it up a little bit. But yeah, that would probably be my favorite
and that's where
alcohol.
we share our common bond is with that splash of grenadine.
But for those of you loyal listeners of the podcast, if you're ever in the middle of summer looking for a refreshing summer beverage, that is what is it? It's a vodka tonic. Vodka
Vodka tonic,
tonic.
man.
That is
Refreshing summer beverage.
it's a refreshing summer beverage, and you are obligated anytime you order a vodka tonic to refer to it as such. Let us know if you're ever enjoying a refreshing summer beverage.
Last time I was in the airport with my boss, he was like, "Vodka tonic? Oh my God, wow. Grow a pair, huh?" And then he ordered a gin and tonic. And so I've been drinking more of those just to be like, "Well, what is the difference?" Turns out it doesn't matter after the first two.
All right, moving on. Do you have any favorite or crazy celebrity meet and greet stories? We took a picture of the back of Edward James Almost's head from the other side of a curtain at a Comic-Con, and Brandon posted it with the caption, Edward James Almost. That's
Yeah, that's so good. Uh, that's how that's a really cool.
that's a throwback to the weekend where our podcast logo, I think, was that photo was taken. I don't know, celebrity meet and greets. I don't typically sign up for those. Like if you're talking about like a Comic-Con or something like that, where you spend a bunch of money and wait in a line so you can get a picture with them. That typically isn't my bag. I don't do that sort of thing. But I enjoy getting to meet people. We Amazing Hawaii Comic Con was this last weekend out in Oahu. We had the opportunity to hang out with Jimmy J, the organizer of those amazing comic conventions, and they invited us out for the second Hawaii Comic Con, and we got to go to the VIP party, where they had a lot of the guests of the convention out at a bar, and a lot of the VIP guests and stuff got to hang out and have some drinks and meet with some of those folks. That was probably, I would argue, the coolest kind of meet and greet situation for me, because it wasn't a quick 5 minute, okay, get in, take your picture, whatever, leave. But we actually had an opportunity to talk to some folks and get to know them a little bit better, and so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Of the two celeb meet and greets, one was doing a panel for Chris Claremont at the Amazing Hawaii Comic Con. Who, if you don't know who Chris Claremont is, he did a bunch of X-Men stuff. Not important stuff. Something like Phoenix or created Gambit, bullshit like that. While I was doing the while I was doing the panel, I he was difficult to get any kind of information out of. Like, it was difficult to get to talking, and I had said something like, uh, like, what if Gambit just like threw his card at somebody and made them explode? It was just something stupid, absurd. And he's like, no, he had a reaction. He's like, no, no, Gambit doesn't kill. That's not who Gambit is. He doesn't do that. And I got a reaction out of him, and he actually had he started talking, and he opened up a little bit. And so I was happy about that. Also, he hates me, and he'll never talk to me.
That's still such an amazing way that turned out, where like we went from one panel to another, and the next thing I know, you're on the main stage with Chris Claremont running a panel, and it's just like, we don't know what we're doing, and there he is. Look at him right there. That was pretty spectacular.
And me and my co-panelist, we were like on Wikipedia, like trying to get as much information on Claremont as we could going up to it, so we could have something to talk about. And the second meet and greet that I always go with is I went to San Diego Comic-Con a good handful of years ago, and Chelsea and I ended up hanging out with Tom Kenny of SpongeBob fame, and because obviously Mitch, my father-in-law, is the animator, and he's kind of like in that realm.
Yeah, that's my best celebrity meet and greet, is meeting your father-in-law.
But we went to the Gaslamp District, and Tom Kenny and I weren't allowed into like a downstairs bar together. That was fun. But the thing about like celebrities and is whenever I meet them, like I really try my best not to be like, "You're a celebrity. I'm hanging out with you." Oh my god, fanboy! Because I want to treat them like regular people, and in some ways that also isn't treating them like regular people. So, anyways, sorry, Tom Kenny. I love you. Please be my friend. He won't be my friend.
Be my friend. This question actually comes from Fox Pixar Media. Thank you, Fox Pixar Media, for the follow over on Twitch. They wanted to know what we thought of Disney's takeover of Fox. Disney owns everything now. The circle is complete.
Do we want to be like? Let's look at it from two angles, Travis. Two different lenses. One from what this really means in reality, and also from the fanboy perspective.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, from the fanboy perspective, hey, X-Men in the Marvel universe, that's really cool.
Nickety schnow. Yeah. No, I'm stoked for that.
Now, from the realistic perspective, in the 80s, Pac Bell, they were sued for a monopoly. Disney, in all seriousness, should not be as powerful as they are now. There should be a monopoly kind of suit against Disney. They should not have taken over as much media as they have. Okay.
Yeah, no, and as a longtime and often stated Disney fanboy, I like a lot of Disney productions and Disney developed stuff. Their business practices, I'm not always 100% on board with. It's hard to like come to terms with the fact that like The Simpsons is a Disney property now, sort of, and things like that. It just seems wrong. I don't know. I hope that they keep those IPs for the most part intact, but I don't know. It seems like they've taken up a lot of stuff now, and I don't know. Hopefully they do good work with it, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me change gears here real quick, Travis. We answered that question. I hope they do good work with it. Which brings me to my next question, which is, what is the most inappropriate movie you watched at a young age? What is the most inappropriate movie you've watched at a young age?
Okay. So what are we counting as a young age?
Now we know it's Debbie Does Dallas 2000, the famous sequel to the original Debbie Does Dallas. By the way, real quick, I was on a work trip to Baltimore, and I pressed the button that said movies, and then I saw Debbie Does Dallas 2000. I was like, oh yeah, let me just see more information. And no, like you press that button again, you actually buy it, and so then like at the end of the trip, I'm like, I have to pay for this. Like I didn't watch it, and they're like, no, come on, like we know you watched it, which I did, but whatever. Like I wanted my money back. I wanted my $12 back.
You're the only person that I know personally who's bought an adult film on an airplane.
No, not an airplane. It was like a La Quinta.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay then. All right. Most inappropriate movie. I mean, inappropriate can be, uh, discussed a lot of different ways. I think the thing that most fits for me is, probably is like a preteen. Our family movie that we watched on a regular basis was Natural Born Killers. Uh,
I remember
and it was jokingly referred to as our family film for several years. So that movie's pretty twisted. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I watched a lot of stuff growing up that was R rated as a kid. So I don't know. Nothing any more scandalous than that.
Yeah. Um. It's just so difficult for me because I've watched a lot of probably not age appropriate stuff for me when I was that age. The earliest horror movie I remember watching was probably Child's Play, and I was scared of my buddy for a long time after that. Uh, I think I think Faces of Death. I watched that. I didn't watch the whole thing. Like I think my parents were like, "We're gonna watch this." Okay, you can't watch this, but I saw some of it ahead of time. Um, Horror movies. Yeah, that's really the
Yeah.
key. Um,
And I was
I love
scared to death of movies as a kid. So I did not watch horror movies as a kid, like at all.
Yeah, and now my son he's weird because we got him into watching horror movies very very early on, and now he doesn't like them, and now he's like he sees like people getting hurt or um in precarious positions, and he's like I can't do it, and he'll like cover his eyes. We watched what was it the other day? Oh, we went to like this engineering fair at University of Florida, and it was for kids or whatever. And there's a display for like a bunch of 3D printing things, and there was like a bullet bill and some boxes, blah blah blah. And there was a face hugger that they had created with 3D printing, and my kid was like, "Oh, it's a face hugger," and he's playing with it. And the guy who's running the display is like, yeah, some kids come in here and they don't know what that is, and it's good for them because whatever kind of parents let their kids watch Alien and blah, blah, and just talking shit about parents who let their kids watch this type of stuff. And Chelsea and I are like, yeah, I know, right? Like who would do that?
All right, child, put the old face hugger away.
Put
Who taught you what that was called?
put that down. No, he like right, and he's like, no, yeah, he impregnates them with this alien. Like, yeah, no. You're thinking of uh Pokemon.
My Little Pony. Yeah, it's Pokemon. All right. That about wraps it up. I think we have time for just one more question.
One more.
One more question before we get out of here. This one comes from the chat, and it says, "Hey, please ask and answer this question on the podcast. Now that you've both been playing D&D for the last year and a half-ish, what's your favorite D&D moment from a game you've played in? That's my question. Thank you, and have a good night."
And he
Champ,
asked it
champ.
more than once. Fucker.
He asked it many times.
Yeah. All right. Favorite moment from a game you've played in. We'll start with you, Travis. A game you've played in, which means you as a character, not as you as a DM.
Okay. Well, it certainly wasn't the time when
I think
you.
he's trying to get us into a fight. That's what he's trying.
It certainly wasn't the time when you took the item that we were trying to steal from a a fancy party and ran back towards enemies with it, leaving the rest of the party stranded on a beach somewhere. That definitely wasn't it.
That was fun. That was fun. Like that. Remember, I did a one shot too, so you can.
the Yeah, that first one shot that I played uh, as a druid, where the one and only time our game has had a female player character in it because I decided to play as a female. Yeah, and we fought the bed dragon. That was
Right.
that was fun. That was fun. First time was the best time.
But was that your favorite moment?
I don't know. I'm thinking from our current campaign, there's definitely been some moments that I really enjoyed. Uh, I could dig through my notes. I don't know. Do you have a moment that you can
Okay.
remember that you really enjoyed?
While you're digging into your notes, I'll pick up my favorite moment. It definitely wasn't when you and Kevin's character decided to waterboard me because I couldn't find the item out of my bag. It definitely wasn't that. It definitely wasn't that moment. Um, but honestly, it was at the end of that campaign where you guys got into the boat to escape this island, and you're like, "Get in the boat with us." Like, and then my character's like, "I'm not getting in the boat with you. You tried to kill me. I'm out of here." Uh, and then he got he ran back into the party area where like the big bad was like, where are you going?" And then I tried to explain to them, like, "I'm bringing you back this idol that they tried to steal from you." And like, "No, you tried to steal that." And then John, who was running the one shot at the time, Champ, by the way, uh, he said a very, very high DC for me to pass on that roll to lie to them. And I rolled the best roll that I've rolled ever, and I got off scot-free at the end of that campaign after, like, screwing you and Kevin, and and me really I was, like, prepared to die at that moment. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, well, like, I was an asshole, like, I should die at this point in time," and I didn't. And it was just like, "You know what? I did it. This is the best best experience of my life."
Yeah, that was terrible. Anyway, I think recently, a couple of games ago, we had a game where we were going to avenge the death of a ghost that we met up with, and we had to convince the person that murdered this ghost to turn himself in. The way that we worked together as a party and made that happen was a lot of fun. I felt like that was I don't know if it was my favorite moment in D&D, but that in recent memory stands out as a pretty fun time. So
Alright.
anyway, so those are our answers to your questions. Thank you so much to everybody that has sent in all of those questions. We very much appreciate it. If you had a question that we didn't get to or we didn't answer, or maybe you have this sparked some more questions for you, hit us up, apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. Send us some questions. Maybe we'll hit one or two every episode if we got other topics to talk about. But yeah, that's gonna be this episode. If you're new to the show, if you're just here for the first time, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure to if you're an audio listener of the podcast, to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode every time that we release one. If you haven't got a chance to rate or review the podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you do that. For all of you that are joining us on stream, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around. We'll have a little bit of a post-show hangout exclusively for you guys and for the people that go watch it on YouTube later on. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. And until next time, I'm Travis.
I am Brandon, and you know, Travis, I just wanna say this. This has been a blast, and I only had one extremely, extremely large gin and tonic.
Just one.
It's all gone. It's all gone. But I want to say a personal thank you to everyone who sent in questions. You're all fantastic. Bordinko, let me know. I'm not saying keep a job open for me, but if you have a job that's open for me, that'd be great. But shout out to a last minute arrival, Scruff TV, who um, there's part of me that's like, is that John again? It's John's character. But whatever. Thank you everyone for coming out. You're fantastic, and I'm gonna I'll edit this.
Play the music, Brandon.
Oh yeah! Oh!
Bye. Scruff TV, your name's actually John? That's amazing. Wow. It's a very good name. Yeah.
TV. Yeah, is that what is that like an antenna thing? Is it like HD antenna channel, or because I watch MeTV because Sven Gulli comes on Saturday nights, and I always want to watch like that horror host type of stuff going on. It's fun. Not Natalie Portman. Who's the other? Who's the actress who was in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Keira Knightley.
Yeah, Keira Knightley. She's like an assassin in one movie, and she's like looking to have some fun. That's how she said. She said the line. I always remember that.
Yeah.
But not the actress or the movie.
Scruff's got a beard. That's why he's got the nickname Scruff TV. Scruff, are you a streamer yourself? Is that the TV portion? Do you stream on the Twitch or the YouTubes?
That's good.
And while we're chatting, thank you so much to everybody that's been hanging out since the pre-show, now into the post-show. You guys are amazing. This has been a ton of fun, and I gotta say, when you guys all come and hang out during the episode, it just makes it even better. The energy is definitely elevated.
It's a completely different energy.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
At this engineering place we went to, right? There was a display about nitrogen, liquid nitrogen, right? And the person was like, the air that you breathe is like 78% nitrogen, so don't worry about breathing in the fumes from this liquid nitrogen. And she did a bunch of displays. I mean, it's great. Like she froze a balloon, and then a kid stomped on it, and then smashed the balloon, and then the balloon became unfrozen, and it was like pliable again. That's great. Engineering.
How's that gin and tonic, Brandon?
This is all true stories, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the coherence of what the story tells is different.
I gotta tell you, we can play D&D or something. We can do a podcast. I have a couple of drinks and feel fine, not like unaffected. That margarita the other day, oh my gosh, it was potent. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back. I gotta go back to Voodoo Taco and have more ghost pepper pork tacos and enjoy some happy hour margs.
That sounds painful. Ghost pepper, anything sounds painful.
It's a delicious taco, but I've had it 3 times and only once has it made my eyes hurt. So,
well, you don't put the salsa in your eyes. That's that's key mistake number 1.
That's how they get you. All right, we are ready to upload some.
Oh yeah. So, Philip, just you asked this earlier. Apologies, I didn't copy and paste to our show notes. When was the last time we saw each other face to face? That's
right
20
now. He actually sits right there.
Yeah.
Here, let me reach my.
You?
Whoa,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the follow, Scruff TV. You're awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Oh,
When was the last time we saw each other face to face? Oh, it was Orlando. It was November last year.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
Stupid.
It's stupid, and I deserve to be shunned for that.
Yeah. When I went to Orlando for our family vacation to Disney World, our families had dinner together. We actually met D Squeeze out there. He came out to Disney Springs and hung out with us. So that was amazing. But yeah, that was the last time we saw each other face to face. We've been doing pretty good about seeing each other in person at least like once a year. Like that's pretty close.
Because before that we saw each other in 2017, and then 2018 we saw each other at the Adult Swim Fest, right?
Yep.
And then 2019 you came out here for Disney.
Yeah.
And so we just need to figure out something for 2020.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
My 20-year reunion is in 2020. Maybe you can come crash that.
My 20-year reunion is in 2021. So
okay, all right.
I already crash other things with people that you like went to school with or whatever, so I can crash that.
Yeah, and they like you, so you feel free to crash.
Didn't I claim I went to your high school while I was out there?
You may have said that to some folks. You can show up to my 20-year reunion and you can say, because my graduating class was like 400 to 500 folks.
You can totally make this happen.
You could easily be like, hey, Wes Archer, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, we had choir. Yeah, I was in your choir class.
Yeah, it was baritone. You don't remember? Oh,
Spencer Washburn.
Can't anymore since the accident. But yeah, I mean, you know how it is. It's great to see you. Yeah, you just need to give me a list of teachers, from your school.
Yeah,
and popular events. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the question. Any chance in hell either one of y'all are gonna be in NYC, New Jersey area?
I imagine not.
Nothing planned right now.
Chelsea and I are trying to, I mentioned the Monterey thing earlier. We want to do a vacation away from our families, like where it's actually a vacation.
Yeah, we should do that together.
We should. Family.
Let's do a double vacation.
New York, New Jersey. Let's do it.
That would continue the track record of us ruining family vacations with our podcasting pursuits.
Yeah. Coming to you live from Niagara Falls. We totally could do that. But yeah, like New York is like one of those places. I say Niagara Falls. That's one of those places that we've thought of just going up there because we've never been to New York City at all. Alternately, there's like $100 tickets to and from the UK. That is something I considered as well.
I totally want to travel internationally. That's something I want to do with my family before all of my kids are like too old and jaded and don't want to be around me anymore.
We got a handful of comments in here. 10-year reunion this year. Epic mealtime named a burger after me. Oh shit!
That's pretty impressive.
Let's go to celebrity meet and greets. I saw the Epic Mealtime guys at that same year I went to the Comic-Con. They were walking in. They were part of the VIP group, and that one dude with the beard, the Souse.
The Souse Bouse.
There, and the guy with the glasses, Muscles glasses. That was his name. Go to Italy. I would love to go to Italy. I've only been to Spain and the UK, going through immigrations. Champ, any chance you guys will be in California anytime in the next decade or two? Not in San Francisco.
Yeah,
John.
You're too far up. You need to come down to SoCal.
The one time I went to Monterey, you're like, it's like 3 hours away. I'm not gonna go visit you. and I hate you for it, and that's why I give you crappy rolls.
Yeah, I would like to be out in California soon. Maybe within the next year or so, but we'll see. You know, something I would love to do is do some sort of like fan meetup thing with the listeners. Problem we have a lot of audio listeners, especially on interdimensional RSS. We need to do some sort of like survey or something to kind of see where our listeners are located, maybe where the highest concentration are, and if there's any interest in actually doing a meetup. We love meeting people one-on-one, but it'd be great if we could do something, with a group or something like that.
Yeah, even though I'm extraordinarily awkward one-on-one,
You do
still,
you do better when I'm around.
yeah, yeah,
Slightly better.
I'm super codependent.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. This extrovert. It's once once I'm one-on-one, I don't want you to see how boring I really am in in my life. As don't shrug your shoulders and nod your head like you're supposed to be like, no, you're really interesting, Brandon.
You're really interesting, Brandon.
Everyone would love you in person.
They do. They do love you. Shut up. It's just that you go and vomit afterwards. That's the only problem.
That's that's true. D Squeeze, I'm glad you didn't step in that Lilo and Stitch. That's why we were standing there actually, because like Lilo or Stitch, he like shoots that water out of his mouth. Or yeah. He shoots the water out of his mouth and it goes down the drain. Once you left, I was like blah. Walked up real quick, real easy.
Just quit. All right. Well, it is now midnight on the East Coast. So I know we got a late start, but we really appreciate you guys hanging out on a school night, no less. And I love doing these Q&A episodes. So if you enjoyed it, keep the questions coming, and we'll have another one here pretty soon.
Pretty. By the way, just last little bit for all our IRSS fans. I got this King of Shit Rick and Morty pop, and it's a deluxe pop. It's larger than normal, and it comes with a little sound. This is what I paid money.
Did you do the math to figure out how many hours of work equated to that purchase?
I bought the batteries for that are like $5 on their own. So God dang it. Anyways, cool pop. Everyone should get one.
It's out of the box. Fans of the podcast will remember Brandon does not like to remove his pops from the box. So very, very special episode of Apathetic Enthusiasm. Right. Anywho, we love hanging out with you guys. Thank you guys for being so amazing. And yeah, let's do it again sometime. This Friday, it is this Friday. We have another D&D session, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. So if you are all caught up on your Desert of Arayu campaign, then make sure to join us this Friday for another thrilling installment. If you're not caught up, head over to youtube.com/apatheticenthusiasm, where you can catch up with all the episodes over there. And I should really move them into a playlist. I've got like half of them in a playlist. I just need to do the maintenance on the rest of them. So yeah, check those out. That'll be the next time we're streaming is Friday night. And then yeah, another episode. Maybe we'll get a video game stream in here sometime. No promises. We'll see what our schedules look like. But you guys are awesome, and we're gonna sign off here. So
here's the end.
You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Oh, sorry, you're not gonna.